Good morning, everybody. I hope you had a great weekend. I don't know how you guys spent your Sunday, but what a beautiful day. And I am glad this time of year we're having some nice weather, some sun. The mild temps and things like that is always good this time of year. Um, Welcome to my coffee bean for this week. We've got a lot of things going on this week. Wednesday night, we have parent-teacher conferences, and remember that everybody that comes with their parent or guardian to conferences gets a ticket, and I'm going to throw a $50 gift card in there for whoever wins that drawing. So for those of you that typically don't show up with your parent guardian, you need to show up. We always have a goal of 100% attendance at those things. It makes a huge difference. Conferences here are way different than anywhere else, in my opinion, because we focus on the positives. I always tell people that if we're having a parent-teacher conference and we're talking about things that you're doing wrong, then I'm not doing my job as the leader of the building in communicating those things to your parent guardian and trying to find solutions. So our coffee bean today is based on the things I've been talking about the last probably 4 weeks. And last week I talked about deceiving yourselves and looking in the mirror, and the only person you have to convince that you're doing the right thing is yourself. And today falls right in line with that. And one of my favorite words is grit. And it's hard to have grit some days. And grit is something that everybody has the ability to use, but oftentimes they choose not to. Okay? Giving up is the easy option, but giving up is not the option that leads to anywhere that I feel is worth going. Okay? I've given up in my life. Your teachers have given up in their lives. There is nobody in the world today that's ever done something great that didn't at one time think about or actually gave up. Okay? And every time I gave up, I just remember that feeling of regret later on because I didn't do what I set out to do. Okay? When you get a behavior support, it's really easy for you to give up on what your goal was for the day. And I know a lot of your teachers in homeroom will set goals for you to try and get to certain levels by the end of the week. And you guys will have something happen, some adversity, some challenges, and you won't make the best choice that you could have made. And that's where grit really needs to come in and help guide you. Like I said, because things get tough, most people, their first thought is, well, I'm going to give up. I can't do it. They're against me. Any of the following things that we talked about the first week in excuses. Okay? And some of you are probably looking around going, what's he talking about with grit? What does that mean? And there are a lot of things that grit is. Okay? First thing that grit is it's personal. Everyone's grit is a little bit different because everyone has different goals. And you may not think you have a goal today. It's Monday. I'm tired. This weekend happened. And now I'm trying to get back into my school routine. Well, your goal for the day might be different than my goal for the day, might be different than Mrs. Fi's goal for the day, might be different than any of your teachers' day or even Marta, our custodian's day. Okay? We all have different goals. All right? But your goal needs to be connected to you or something that's larger than yourself. Okay? I've had a lot of goals this year. I've had a lot of goals in my life. Some of my goals I've achieved and some of them I've fallen short of. That leads me to the second part of grit is progress, not perfection. Okay? If you look in history, If you look in the current world today, if you look at anything you are interested in, I don't care if it's music, if it's something in entertainment, if it's something in sports, if it's something in attaining a goal. There is no one who's ever done any goal that didn't have some type of failure or setback in that. Okay? Ask all of your teachers right now in the room you're in, have you ever failed at something? Okay? And I guarantee you they have. I have failed at something already today. And the greatest thing about my failure today is I know I have grit and I know I'm not going to quit because I had a setback. Okay? I know this. We always hear that there's a strive for perfection and you have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. No one in this world is ever perfect. Okay? In fact, perfection's really never going to happen for any of us. The thing that's going to happen is achievement. We will achieve things with our grit. Okay? Having grit is messy. And we have to embrace the messiness of it and grab it and take it. Okay? So, the one thing grit does for us is it doesn't keep us from giving up. And you're like, but Mr. Owens, you've been saying we have to have grit, otherwise we quit, or we have to have grit, otherwise we're just going to give up and not achieve our goal. Grit keeps us on the path to becoming who we're meant to be. Okay? So if you get a behavior support, if you get someone telling you, hey, I'm redirecting you not to talk over me, or I'm redirecting you to respect the learning environment, or I'm asking you to keep your head up off your binder because you fall asleep when you put your head on your binder, that's where grit needs to come into play. And you need to be who you are meant to be. And that's my coffee bean challenge this week, is to show more grit, because life is going to get tough. Life is going to get hard for you, but you can always, always, always overcome anything with the support of the people who love you and the grit you have that you can pull out to try and get through your day. Okay? I want you guys to know that we see you every day at school. We hear you every day at school, and we love you every day at school. Okay? This is a family. This school is built as a family, and families celebrate, families help each other get through those struggles. But I want you guys to know that if no one's told you today, that your teachers love you very much, and I love you very much. And that's why we are here in this building, is to help you get to where you need to be. Okay? I want to have a great week. I want to have an awesome night Wednesday of conferences. I want to wish our Kid Win Challenge participants a great time in Kansas on Thursday. And remember, we can do great things, we can do hard things, because we are the Hani Aram Center for Success. So let's have a great week, everybody.